Did you hear that Target lost, what was it, Jamie? Like $400 million last year from looting? $400 million.
Really?
Yeah, because all these people in the last year or so, just during the pandemic, people were like stealing shit. You know, it became a thing. Like in some states,
I had no idea it was that bad.
It's bad. In some states, they've closed down all the Walgreens. They've closed down all these different, because they made a law where if you steal less than $900 worth of stuff, they can't even arrest you. They don't even do anything about it. So people would just walk in. Have you ever seen those videos?
No. Well, I've seen the videos. I didn't know about them being prompted by. I didn't know that activity being inspired by particular rules as much as just like a breakdown of, I don't know, like a breakdown of desire, like for a while, like a desire to engage with certain kinds of law breaking.
Well, there was that, and then there was also, I think, during the George Floyd protest, organized retail crime has driven $400 million in extra profit loss this year at Target. That is crazy. And organized. There was, during the George Floyd protest, there was so much looting. I don't know if you saw the stuff in New York. It was crazy.
Oh, for sure,
where the cops were standing by. They were just standing there watching them smash windows and run into stores. And that was that de Blasio guy, the like super leftist mayor of New York, just kind of allowed it all to happen. And it's based apparently on an old theory about rioting where you just let them burn it out of their system, like have a temper tantrum.
I think that so much is there's a lot of this isn't just I didn't make this up, but there's a lot of governance by theory, going on where it's like it's sort of a lot of people are left to be like, Muhammad, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, you got to think who these people are.
It's a theory, though, right?
Who these people are that want to be mayors and want to be governors. Like they're a bunch of loony people for the most part. There's not a lot of competition. There's not a lot of like super rational, really like well-educated, super successful in business people that wind up becoming governors and mayors, which is probably what you would need to be. You need to be someone who's like really good at organizing business. And there was a guy that was running in New York, and apparently he got really close. And he was ahead in the race for a while, but then he wound up losing to some woman who's the new mayor of Los Angeles. Was it Karen Bass? So
I just heard a guy saying that that's the politicians that are going to win now. He was a strategist, a Republican strategist, and he was saying that his prediction was it was going to be like the technocrats. That people were getting. I don't know where he's getting this from, but it made me feel optimistic that people are getting more interested in like that his view of the midterms is that voters are getting interested in like pragmatic problem solving again, and not ideology.
Well, once ideology comes crashing back on you and falls apart, and your business collapses, and that's what you're seeing with a lot of people. It's like just the reality facing them, where their ideology is not sustainable, and then they're like, Jesus Christ, like I've lost everything here. We got to get somebody who's like some fucking hard-nosed business person. Yep, it's gonna get everything running correctly.
I had an interesting thing happening right here in Austin the other day. Speaking of law enforcement, I was down here for a couple of days with it was my daughter's birthday, so my wife and my daughter came down with me, and we spent a couple of days just knocking around town. And we went down to check out those bats that come out of the Congress Bridge. Oh my God, it's cool.
It's wild.
We were walking down there, and I become aware, we're going down the sidewalk, and I become aware of like all this honking and yelling and shit at an intersection. And as I'm walking up to a car, and there's a woman like honking and yelling, and she's pointing into the car. And I go and realize this guy, like, I thought he had a heart attack. Just keeled over the steering wheel in the intersection. Okay. So he had his back window down, like halfway down for whatever reason. And I'm in there, and I got him by the shoulder, and I'm trying to shake him awake. Okay. And I think he's had a heart attack or died. I don't know what's going on. I'm yelling at my wife, call 911. I'm trying to get his door open, but his doors are locked. And I'm trying to reach up to hit the unlock button because the thing's only half open. And me yelling and saying, "You all right? You all right?" He perks up and like takes stock of the situation and just goes off through the green light. So now I feel like I'm like not complicit, but I feel like it's like become my responsibility. he's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna die, kill somebody. I call 911. My wife had already called 911. She got sick of waiting on hold and gave me the phone. She went in to try to find, she had left my daughter's swimsuit somewhere. She went to try to find my daughter's swimsuit. I waited. She came out. I was still on hold, and I was like, he's gone now. It's just someone else's problem.
Yeah,
I'd never had that happen to me. I'm not like a habitual 911 dialer. But
911 is apparently in a lot of places it's not that good anymore.
I was shocked.
How long did it take? How long was she on hold for?
Man, I want to say 10 minutes, but I don't know. I don't want to exaggerate. I wasn't really paying it. I was kind of I wasn't really watching him. I was a little bit preoccupied, but like a long time,
God, it's depressing. It's so depressing. There's never been a time in my life where I felt like things have broken down as much as they have over the last 3 years.
Yeah, well,
Just
scary.
Like, what the fuck? And the thing about things breaking down is, boy, they can break down quick, but building them back up again, that takes a long time.
Yeah.
That takes a long time.
You'll be able to see that play out in Ukraine at some point in time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, those fucking buildings that are destroyed,
Oh,
too. Like, how do they rebuild? They have cities that are just completely leveled. How do they even build that back up?
In the back of my head, looking at him, I was like, man, how do you, I don't know. It's decades and decades.
Yeah. It's depressing. And, our only hope is that it doesn't get worse. That's your only hope at this point in time. It's just like somehow or another it doesn't continue to decelerate or accelerate, rather.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading a terrible book about this, too.
What is
I'm in the middle of this book called The Kill Chain. It's all about how China has a technological superiority over America because our systems don't communicate with each other and we don't have machine learning with all our military systems, and
Got it.
how far behind they are in terms of like what's available in like what they have available in terms of like artificial. They're comparing right now like computers now that can beat people in the game Go, which I don't really understand, but apparently it's very sophisticated, and also StarCraft 2, which is a very complicated game, and now computers are just wiping out the best players in the world and not making any mistakes, and how that kind of computer learning is being applied in China, but it's not being applied in America. And that all of our systems are kind of antiquated, and that we update hardware first and then software. So like we don't have like your phone is constantly upgrading. They're comparing that like you're with when they learn new things and they find exploits and they patch them up, you get an update on your phone.
Yeah.
They don't have that.